Alright, on this one, I did upgrade and ditch the stock motor mount bracket to the two-piece. I like these a lot better. They shim out way easier. There's a lot more adjustment having a two-piece section, and it's also probably twice as thick as the factory mount. Definitely recommend those. So motor mount's going to come off, spark plug wire's coming off. Come around to this side. Then you got your oil lines, push rods, front exhaust. So now it's up in the air. I'll start jamming away on some of these things. I'll start on this side. Pull the exhaust first. Exhaust comes off first. Got a 1/2-inch bolt up here on the stud. Already losing my tools that I just had in my hand. Everybody has problems on these Shovelhead exhausts. A lot of people silicone them or load it up with some sort of glue. Make sure your mounts are all tight and it's supported proper. This one's been in here for a really long time. I don't remember the last time this front pipe has come off. I also stopped using the stock gaskets for Shovelheads. I take an Evo gasket, that crush ring material. I'll take one of those and actually cut it and separate it. So one of the Evo gaskets, and I'll use that as a filler. I'll show you that once this is actually off. They kind of help alleviate some of the gap you get on these pipes. Alright, I got a nice 16th down here. Unfortunately, this stud's pulling out too, so we'll have to address that later as well. Might have to helicoil this front head. It's been in here a really long time, but maybe I'll get lucky and it'll just pull the stud nice and smooth. Never know. Very rusty though. Goes through a lot of heat cycles, hot, cold, hot, cold. Alright, there's the C stud, super rusty, pulled the whole stud out. Here's that Evo gasket I was talking about. When you run these, they crush down, kind of fit the port really well. I'll be replacing all of these when I get around to that. But the pipe's off. I'll break free these oil lines and then we'll move on to the push rod. Actually, let's do the push rods first. These little tangs in here let you get a screwdriver in. Do not go prying on these. You'll snap them right in half. They're really thin. All I use that for is just to walk them or rotate them a little bit till they free up. I see people get a little crazy on those all the time. Like even these, they're all bent out from messing with them. Bigger screwdriver helps too. Alright, a lot of times you want to put a clothespin or something here to hold these up. I actually don't have any of my clothespins. I don't know where I put them. So, what can I rig up here? Nothing. Just let them get in the way and fight me the whole time. Alright, this one, I do have solid inserts here. I replaced the hydraulic lifters, so it's solids. But I'm going to break these free. Usually want a real skinny wrench for this top push rod to break this lock nut free. I don't have that either. Maybe I do. Go. Wind this down and then bring the push rod, the lifter up. And then your push rod comes out. I'm going to leave these in order front, back. If you want to label them, you can. Some of your push rods are going to be different sizes. I have a wrench that's ground down specifically for this. I just don't know where it's at right now. Well, I think it's in my tool bag. But it shouldn't take much. Basically just got to hold the upper push rod steady while you break down this jam nut. From there, you can thread the bottom one up. Until you get enough to pop the push rod out. Which is easier if I rotated the motor around a little bit. Because this one's on a compression stroke, or the valve's open, I mean. Off of a compression stroke, but the valve is open. So let me do that. Now I'm not fighting valve tension. Alright, this lifter's actually got oil pressure in it now, so it's going to be a lot tighter. So I'll leave that one until we pull the head since it's all coming out anyway. Not that big of a deal. Everything's loose and free there. We want to break the front oil line to the head. 1/2 inch. Pull your intake. This is an O-ring motor, so these little set screw Phillips ones actually do a pretty good job. I would not recommend running flat head intake, the stock style intake clamps on the rubber bands. I just don't think they bite enough. It's really hard to get them tight. Intake's off, O-rings are out, oil line's free. And we gotta run around to the other side and grab the motor mounts. Grab some tools. It's on both sides. Alright, 2-piece motor mount makes it a little bit easier. Of course I didn't grab the right ones. What size are you? Eleven sixteenths. 11/16 on the motor mount. I do have shims underneath this. Important step, I'll go over that when I put all this back together. Got one fat washer on top, 2 underneath, and break this other one free real quick. We got one washer on the back side. There's a spacer, 2 washers up front. Now I'm going to put this right back together, just the way it came out, so I know. Okay, spark plug can come off. And that's that. That's everything you got to get off before you start pulling the actual head. On these, on Shovelheads, the bolts come up from the bottom, just like panheads. You will want one of these dog bones. Makes your life so much easier. I've done this with box end wrenches, cut down, shaved. Because a lot of your sockets, you can get a wrench in, but you don't have much movement. This one's a little bit skinnier. Any of the bigger ones, some of them won't clear on some of these, and you get into the corners and there's no room to actually get to your bolts. These are a game changer. You can put a lot more torque into them as well. So these drop in underneath. That, especially on these corner ones. If they're completely loose, sometimes I can get lucky and use a flex extension to rip these out. Drill. Can't do it on all of them. But sometimes. Loosen the other side real quick. A bunch of these are kind of loose now. Don't know if this is going to work. Also, not meant for any sort of torque, but sometimes I get lucky with these. You can get a 9/16 on there. In this case, it did. Run my fingers raw several times. Ooh. They aren't looking very good in here. Lots of oil on these bolts, not a good sign. I was planning on rebuilding this motor this summer since I got a bunch of other bikes going right now. And I bought a car. And now I'm running out of funds. That front right bolt on this head, you'll almost, oh, that one actually dropped out. A lot of times that one will get stuck on the cylinder bolts. But, head's free. Give that a quick little pop. Push rods out. And we get to see how bad this actually is. Would have been easier coming out the other way, but there's the head. And I just dropped a chunk of washer inside. Burning some oil, but not too terrible. We'll clean all that up while this is out. At this juncture, I'm not planning on doing a full crazy tear down on this at all. Tape this up. See what we got in here. Definitely burning a little bit of oil. Overall, not too bad for how many miles I have on this. And let's come around to the other side and take a look at the head gasket, which went bad, and see how terrible that one is. Should be this nice blue color here. Blue, 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 less blue, no gasket at all. So definitely blew that one out pretty good. You can see it there. Now I get the fun job of starting to scrape and clean up all of this stuff and then get her back together. Now that I think about it, I thought I was going to start messing with that head a little bit. I don't even think I'm going to do that. It's the middle of summer. I don't have money to do a full rebuild, and it was running good. I mean, it's even running all right with a blown head gasket somehow. But yeah, we'll just freshen this up, clean up that gasket surface, put the head back on, and send it. We can do a rebuild this winter, hopefully. We'll catch you guys later.